This video has guidance on the second half of the discussion. That's after you've written about the experiment data. The final part is to explain what the investigation has found or proven. In section 2 of the discussion, do not repeat the data. In this section, focus on the concepts that underpin the data. This means the concepts discussed in the rationale. Because in this section you must interpret the results, so say what they reveal in terms of the research question. And this research question was about the black or white surfaces and how they absorb heat. And explain why the results are significant. In other words, where does it have relevance in the real world? When you get to this part, think, what's my role? Who's my audience? Who am I writing for? You're not just a Year 7 student writing an assignment for your teacher. No. You're a scientist and you're writing about the investigation findings as if you are contributing to scientific knowledge that's out there. Your results are either confirming what we know or adding to the existing knowledge we have about this topic. So let's structure section 2 in 2 parts. There's main idea 1, which is what the results reveal. Now first I think carefully about what I think they mean, and then I think the main idea is that lighter coloured materials are much slower to absorb heat than the black coloured materials. In the rest of the sentences, my job is to explain and elaborate on this main idea so the reader understands. As the writer, I'll need to read about these topics and research them, so what I put in my sentences is clear, correct, and concise for the person reading my work. In a moment, I'll show some tips for how I did that research. And my second idea, where I explain the significance of the results, is where do these ideas apply in the real world? And this topic is about space exploration, so I should stay relevant to that. And again, explain and elaborate on that so that the reader understands why these results are significant in the real world. Now that I have a plan, the 2 paragraphs I want to write in this section, the rest of this video looks at how we could do some research and write those sentences. For a good internet search, use the keywords of the topic and separate them with the word and. Know that the first search item isn't always the best one. Spend time scanning, clicking, scanning, clicking, and briefly reading. I decided these sources weren't suitable, so I changed my search terms to colour and heat absorption. Having read the information on some of these sources, I've decided these pages have information that I'll use, such as this. I'm going to use that as a direct quote. I've just pasted it into my work. So I keep track of the sources I use as I research. This one was from Science Buddies, written in 2023. So I skip down and paste the full reference into my reference list so I don't lose it as I work. There was a second source that I used. There's some other information from an author called Integrate, and I also used some information from NASA. With all of my notes pasted, I'm ready to write my work. So my topic sentence is that this experiment confirms how lighter coloured objects are much slower to absorb heat than darker coloured objects. That's my main idea, my topic sentence. And the rest of this paragraph, I've used my research to explain and elaborate. Any light source emits energy in the form of light and heat. And you can read ahead to see how that's written. Once you've done that, you've written the first part of section 2, saying what the results reveal. Then you repeat the process for the second part, which is why the results are relevant. And I think the main idea is that the different rates at which materials absorb heat is an important consideration for space travel, because space is considered an extreme environment and astronauts are very susceptible to the sun's energy. And once again, you can read on and see how this part is completed.